In today's video, we are talking about auditing tools, how to use auditing tools. We're going to look at how to display dependents, how to use precedent arrows, how to remove dependent and precedent arrows, and how to evaluate a formula. Let's get started. So in this range of cells, we have quantity, we have an here, which Samsung Galaxy, iPhone, Samsung Galaxy, and LG. In quantity, we have 159, 209, 90. We have the prices here in the columns header C. We have the total in column header D. We have the tasks, tax rates, and then we have formula text. Now, how did we get a total? Total is simply quantity times price. Should in case you forget and you want to know the formula used, you can simply click on the cell, total, get on formulas, click on show formulas, and you can see that the formula that was used has been shown. The formula is B2 times C2. You can always find that by looking at the blue colored cell and the red colored cell. So we are multiplying the blue by the red to get this answer in the green colored cell. Okay, let's take off show formula. Great. So we have the formulas here. We have tax. How did we get tax? Tax was simply, we had 8% tax here, and then what we did was get back on show formulas. Now we divided B7, that is B7, tax should be B7 over, sorry, B7 times D2. So in tax, we have B7, which is an absolute sale, times D2, which is the total value we have here. Let's get back to our home tab, and then on our formula, we hide the formulas again. So how do we use the precedents? If we want to find out what formulas was used to get here, we can trace it. How? By simply going to your formula tab again and click on trace precedents. Trace precedents. We can see that it gives us two dots here. So it says that this and that was traced to get that. So the results of this is stemming from cell B2 and C2. If we get to this and we click on trace precedents, it tells us this cell B3 and dot C3 gives us this value. If we click on C4 and trace precedents, it tells us that this cell and that cell precedes to this cell. Now, what if we get to the tax and trace precedents? So we click on the tax and trace precedents. It tells us, oh, this, let's remove all the arrows first. It's getting a bit confusing. So we click on this tax and trace precedents. And that is this cell times this cell gives us this. If you click on trace precedent again, it's going to trace how we got this. And that means this B7 to B4 and C4 gives us D4. And then D4 and this cell gives us that. To simply remove the arrows, click on remove arrows and all arrows are removed. Now, look at this cell B2. It has no formula. So we cannot trace any precedent because nothing was used to get this. We typed this right from the computer. So what if we want to find out the dependent? How many cells are dependent on this particular cell? We can click on the cell and get on trace dependent. And it tells us that this cell and that cell. So we have total is dependent on that. Trace dependent. And it says tax is also dependent on that. That's it. So these two are dependent on that. That is how trace dependent works. Let's take off the arrows again. And if you've forgotten and you want to show the formula that you used, you can click on equal sign, type formula text, open bracket, and select the cell E2, that is tax. Enter, and it tells us how the formula was gotten. An absolute cell of B7 by E2. That is how show formula text works. Now, let's get to evaluate. We have a formula here. Let's show formulas. Equal 90 plus 10 divided by 9 times bracket 3 plus 2. And we want to find out how this result was calculated. We can simply click on the cell, and then in our formula tab, we click on evaluate formula. Evaluate formula, it tells us the evaluation. The first to be calculated was 10 over 9. Then you click on evaluate again. It tells us the next step. That gave us 1.111. And the next step was 3 plus 2. Using board mass, 3 plus 2. We evaluate that. That gave us 1.11 times 5. So the next thing was to multiply this to that. Evaluate. And that gave us 1.1111 times 5. Evaluate again. So that gave us 5.555556 plus 90, and you evaluate, and that gave us the answer. That is how evaluate works. That's it for today. See you.